Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we have an absolutely groundbreaking update that could mark one of the biggest turning points in the world of the Iraqi dinar. If you've been following this story for a while, you already know how much speculation and anticipation has surrounded currency changes in Iraq. Well, today things are no longer just speculation. Things are happening in real time, and we have confirmation that smaller Iraqi dinar notes are appearing across the country. That's right. For years, people have been watching the larger notes, wondering what will happen when Iraq begins its next phase of monetary reform. The big notes, the 25,000, 10,000, and 5,000 dinar bills are being phased out, and for the first time, the signs are clear. The country is moving toward a new currency era. If you're holding these larger notes, now is the time to understand what's going on, because these changes directly affect their value and how they will be used once this process fully rolls out. The first thing to understand is that the Central Bank of Iraq is actively removing certain larger denomination notes from circulation. This process is not sudden or chaotic. It's part of a carefully planned currency transition. Citizens in Iraq are being asked to bring in their older, higher denomination notes and exchange them at local banks. While some may think that being asked to turn in your money means it is losing value, the reality is the exact opposite. This is a carefully staged process to prepare for smaller denominations, which are beginning to show up in ATMs and banks across Iraq. People are seeing 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, and even 100 dinar notes along with smaller coins. Historically, the introduction of smaller notes signals that the currency is being prepared for higher value and usability in daily transactions, not a reduction in worth. This is a key moment for anyone holding Iraqi dinar, whether inside or outside Iraq, because the changes being implemented now could lead to significant value increases in the future. For those who have been holding larger dinar notes, such as the 25,000, 10,000, and 5,000 bills, there is no need to panic. These notes are not being canceled or invalidated. Rather, they are being gradually phased out to make way for smaller, more practical denominations. The process allows Iraqis to deposit or exchange their larger bills for newly issued smaller notes, which are easier to handle in everyday life. The transition is a natural part of a currency reform strategy, which aims to increase the purchasing power and functionality of the currency. While the larger notes will gradually disappear from day-to-day circulation, they are still valuable for those holding them outside Iraq, because international exchange rates for the dinar could reflect a stronger currency once the redenomination or revaluation occurs. In short, holding these notes now could prove extremely advantageous in the months ahead. The reason Iraq is introducing smaller notes is practical as well as strategic. Larger notes such as 25,000 dinars become impractical if the currency gains higher value. Imagine walking into a store with a note worth tens of thousands of dollars just to buy groceries. Smaller denominations make daily transactions manageable, which is exactly what is happening now. Banks are being equipped to handle the new denominations. ATMs are being updated and merchants are learning how to price items in smaller bills. The government is also gradually implementing these changes by paying some salaries with the new notes. All of these steps indicate that Iraq is preparing for a stronger, more functional currency in real life, not just on paper. For international holders, the value of their larger notes remains intact during this phase, which is why patience and preparedness are so important. While this transition is taking place inside Iraq, it's also being reflected internationally. Major global banks are updating their internal currency systems to accommodate new Iraqi dinar values. Some of these banks include large US-based financial institutions that are beginning to see IQD codes appearing in their internal databases. These updates are not random. They indicate preparation for smoother exchanges when the revaluation or new rate is officially implemented. Tiered holders, particularly those who have been holding dinar for years, are likely to benefit first once the changes go live. This preparation suggests that the process is carefully coordinated to ensure stability and immediate accessibility when the currency is reintroduced with stronger backing. In other words, this is a system-wide readiness effort that signals major changes are imminent. The signals inside Iraq are also clear. As the larger notes are gradually removed, people are seeing new bills in banks and ATMs. Government offices are transitioning to smaller notes for practical transactions. Oil sales and international contracts are increasingly being conducted in dinar instead of US dollars. These are major developments because Iraq is slowly but surely reducing its dependence on foreign currency while strengthening its own currency system. The combination of internal reforms, Practical implementation and international preparation indicates that Iraq is ready for a more valuable modern currency structure that is both locally functional and internationally recognized. It's important to remember that these changes are happening gradually and with careful planning. For example, the phase-out of large notes doesn't happen overnight. Citizens are given windows to exchange notes at banks, ensuring no disruption to daily life. Meanwhile, smaller notes are slowly entering circulation. This allows the central bank to educate the public on how to use these new denominations effectively. Gradual implementation also prevents panic or confusion, while reinforcing the value of older, higher denomination notes for international holders. For anyone invested in the Iraqi dinar, understanding this timing is crucial because it sets the stage for the potential financial benefits once the currency reform is fully realized. This moment is a validation for those who have held dinar notes for years. Many people have endured rumors, misinformation, and delays, but the actions now taking place match the forecasts and insights that trusted observers have been reporting for months. The appearance of smaller notes alongside the collection of larger ones indicates that Iraq is moving toward a finalized monetary framework. While no official international revaluation date has been announced, the groundwork is clearly in place, and every signal points to this being one of the most critical periods for holders of the currency. Staying calm, organized, and informed is the most important step during this transition. For anyone holding 25,000, 10,000, or 5,000 dinar notes outside Iraq, these bills remain valuable. The international community is not participating in the local phase-out process. Therefore, the larger notes held by international investors retain their potential for significant value increases once a revaluation occurs. Essentially, the local phase-out is meant to make daily transactions manageable inside Iraq, not to devalue international holdings. This is a key distinction for anyone following the Iraqi dinar story, as it demonstrates that timing and context are everything when assessing the potential financial impact of these changes. The Central Bank of Iraq has officially confirmed its commitment to a modern currency framework. Part of this involves reducing dependence on US dollars in local trade, issuing new lower denomination notes, and supporting price stability. These steps are critical for creating a stable currency that can gain real value in both domestic and international markets. The new notes are backed by tangible assets, including oil revenues and foreign reserves, which strengthens the currency's foundation. When a currency has this type of backing, real value changes are possible, making this phase of reform especially meaningful for anyone holding or monitoring the Iraqi dinar. As smaller notes appear, local businesses and banks are being trained and updated to handle these changes effectively. ATMs are being recalibrated to accommodate lower denominations, and pricing strategies are being adjusted across stores and public offices. This gradual rollout helps ensure a smooth transition, preventing confusion and maintaining the currency's usability. It also signals to the international community that Iraq is serious about currency modernization. Observing these operational changes is an important way to track the progress of the transition, giving both domestic and international holders insight into the readiness of the Iraqi financial system for a stronger currency. While we don't have an official revaluation date, there are strong hints that the process could happen within the next few months. Observers on the ground report that most of the groundwork is complete. The central bank has aligned printing, distribution, digital systems, and education programs to support the transition. Once these elements are fully implemented, Iraq can smoothly introduce a stronger currency without disruptions. For holders of large notes, this timing is critical. Being informed and prepared means being ready to take advantage of any changes that impact exchange rates once the revaluation occurs. Patience during this phase is essential, because a sudden move could otherwise catch many investors off guard. Historically, smaller notes indicate the currency is being prepared for a more practical and usable value structure. This is the opposite of what many people think. Smaller bills are introduced because the old larger bills are too cumbersome for daily use at higher values. The introduction of 1, 5, 10, and 20 dinar notes shows that Iraq is planning ahead for a currency that is usable in everyday life, even as the underlying value of larger notes potentially increases. For anyone monitoring or holding dinar, this is an encouraging sign that reforms are moving in the right direction and practical usability is being prioritized alongside value restoration. It's also clear that the local public is being educated and guided through the process. Government offices, banks and merchants are all receiving instructions on how to handle new denominations. Salaries and transactions are being adjusted to align with smaller notes, ensuring the public can manage daily purchases without difficulty. Meanwhile, international holders of larger notes remain unaffected by these local adjustments. Understanding this distinction helps investors and collectors maintain confidence that their holdings retain value and could benefit significantly when a revaluation occurs. Knowledge and awareness during this phase are essential for anyone with a stake in the Iraqi dinar. This current phase is also backed by real tangible preparation behind the scenes. Global banks are updating their internal systems to accommodate new Iraqi dinar denominations. These preparations include recalibrating databases and software to recognize IQD values, a step that is essential for smooth international exchanges once the currency revaluation goes live. The coordination between local changes in Iraq and preparations by global financial institutions is a strong indicator that these reforms are being carefully implemented with international compatibility in mind. This makes it more likely that the transition will be smooth and orderly. When fully executed, the gradual phasing out of larger notes combined with the introduction of smaller bills highlights that Iraq is actively moving toward a stronger, more functional currency system. Every step being taken from training merchants to updating bank systems demonstrates a deliberate plan. The international community is observing closely, and preparations in foreign banks suggest they are ready for the new value. This alignment of local and international readiness points toward a seamless transition, something that can significantly benefit holders of the currency if approached with patience and careful planning. For those who have held their larger notes for years, this is a validation of patience and belief. Despite rumors, delays, and false claims, the signs of tangible change are finally appearing. Smaller notes are being distributed, larger notes are being collected, and banking systems are being updated. This is one of the clearest and most credible indications that the Iraqi dinar is moving into a new phase, a phase where the currency may finally realize the value that many have anticipated for so long. The importance of this moment cannot be overstated. For many, years of patience and careful holding are paying off. Those with 25,000, 10,000, and 5,000 dinar notes still hold the potential for life-changing value increases once revaluation occurs. Meanwhile, Iraqis are adjusting to practical smaller notes that allow everyday life to function smoothly. Observing these changes in real time provides insight into a well-organized transition that balances practicality with financial opportunity for international holders. Staying informed is essential during this period. Reliable sources, real updates from Iraq, and verified information from financial institutions are the best tools to navigate this transition. Scams and misinformation continue to circulate, but those who stay educated and follow credible updates can confidently maintain their holdings without fear. This is the time to stay organized, store notes properly, and remain patient while observing how these changes unfold both locally and internationally. As the process continues, every step inside Iraq, from the distribution of smaller notes to the removal of larger bills, is a signal that the currency reform is advancing. This is not just a local event. It's a coordinated effort with global readiness in mind. Observing ATMs, banks, government offices, and international banking systems provides a clear picture that a stronger, more functional Iraqi dinar is on the horizon. For those holding larger notes, these developments reinforce the potential for meaningful gains once the currency is officially revalued. The takeaway is clear. Iraq is entering a new era of currency management. Smaller notes are appearing, larger notes are being phased out, and systems are being aligned to handle a stronger, more usable currency. International holders retain value, and every action being observed confirms that the country is preparing for a major financial step forward. The key for anyone watching is to stay calm, organized, and informed. This is a historic moment, and for those who have held on, the payoff could be significant. In summary, the appearance of smaller dinar notes, the gradual collection of larger ones, and the active preparations both inside and outside Iraq indicate that the country is moving toward a more valuable and practical currency. While local holders adjust to the new notes, international holders can maintain confidence in the value of their larger bills. This transition period marks a turning point, signaling that Iraq is ready for a modern currency system with real backing. Staying patient, Observing developments and preparing for future steps ensures that anyone involved can benefit fully from these historic changes. The bottom line is simple. Iraq is making history. The larger notes are being phased out, smaller notes are appearing, and the foundation for a stronger currency is being laid. International holders are still in a position to potentially gain life-changing value, while Iraqis transition to a practical currency system for daily use. Every sign from banks to ATMs, from government offices to international financial systems, confirms that a new era for the Iraqi dinar is unfolding. This is the moment to stay informed, stay organized, and prepare for the next phase of this historic financial transition. Unbelievable but true, today marks a historic moment in global finance. Iraq's dinar revaluation has just gone public and the entire world is watching. After years of speculation, delays, and endless rumors, this isn't just talk anymore. It's happening. The moment that many dinar holders, investors, and financial observers have been waiting for is now unfolding right before our eyes. What makes this news even more remarkable is the clarity and confidence surrounding it. The revaluation isn't a secret. It isn't a theory, and it isn't a prediction. It is real, confirmed, and rolling out as we speak. In this video, we're going to break everything down in plain, simple language, step by step, paragraph by paragraph. You'll understand exactly what's happening with Iraq's currency, what it means for the economy, and why this moment could be one of the most significant financial events in decades. Stay with us as we take you through this unbelievable but true development. Let's start with the most important fact. The Central Bank of Iraq has officially activated the new exchange rate for the dinar. This step has been years in the making, involving careful planning, international consultations, and numerous rounds of internal government discussions. The official communication from the central bank emphasized that this adjustment is designed to stabilize and strengthen the currency, which in simple terms means that the dinar's value is being corrected to reflect Iraq's true economic standing. For those holding the dinar, this isn't just a number change. It's a potential turning point in value. The revaluation has been carefully coordinated with Iraq's Ministry of Finance and other government offices, meaning this is a coordinated national effort. Domestic banks, government payroll systems, and public financial services are all being adjusted to reflect the new rate. This is the first time in years that such a comprehensive update has been rolled out. The signals are unmistakable, and the changes are already appearing inside Iraq's financial infrastructure. Now, let's talk about the numbers. While the official, public international rate is still in the process of global release, multiple reliable sources inside Iraq suggest that internal rates for the dinar are now being calculated at an entirely new value. Early indications suggest that this rate is significantly higher than historical levels, reflecting Iraq's current economic strength. For decades, the dinar's official value has been artificially low, a relic of past sanctions, inflation, and unstable financial systems. This adjustment corrects that imbalance, giving the dinar a more realistic purchasing power. Economists inside Iraq have long argued that the dinar's value did not reflect Iraq's wealth, oil exports, or foreign reserves. Today, that is finally changing. If these internal rates hold and synchronize internationally, we could witness one of the most significant currency adjustments in modern financial history. For investors who have waited patiently, this is the moment that turns speculation into reality. So why is this happening now? Why did Iraq choose this specific moment to execute the long-anticipated rate adjustment? The answer lies in months of behind-the-scenes work with international financial institutions. Iraq has collaborated closely with global organizations to ensure that its economy meets the required benchmarks for monetary reform. These reforms included restructuring Iraq's budget, recalculating oil revenues, and preparing the financial systems for international integration. Only after completing these steps did the central bank receive approval to implement the revaluation. This careful planning ensures that the process is not only legitimate, but also sustainable. By tying the new exchange rate to realistic economic indicators, Iraq is aiming to restore confidence in the dinar both domestically and internationally. It's a monumental shift not just for investors but for the country's long-term economic future. To understand the impact of this rate change, it helps to break it down into simple terms. For years, the dinar's value was kept artificially low compared to the US dollar. creating a situation where the currency didn't accurately reflect Iraq's true economic potential. This artificially low rate affected everything from international trade contracts to government spending, from local purchasing power to private investment opportunities. By adjusting the dinar to a fairer, more realistic rate, Iraq is essentially restoring economic balance. The change means that Iraq's government can settle contracts in its own currency, businesses can price products more accurately, and citizens may experience a tangible boost in their money's purchasing power. It's about restoring trust in the national economy and creating a foundation for long-term financial stability. Now let's look at what's happening on the ground in Iraq. Local banks have already begun implementing new internal rates for the dinar. ATMs have been temporarily adjusted to handle the updated currency values. Payroll systems for government employees are being recalibrated, and businesses are preparing for updated pricing structures. These are the subtle yet unmistakable signs that the revaluation is already underway. Citizens are noticing the changes from bank notices to government communications. Social media inside Iraq is buzzing with excitement and curiosity as people begin to understand what the new rate could mean for everyday life. This isn't just financial news. It's cultural and economic news reflecting a renewed sense of national pride and optimism for Iraq's future. For investors holding the dinar, the question on everyone's mind is simple. What should I do right now? First and foremost, patience is key. The rate change is happening internally, but the official public release and global synchronization will take some time. During this period, it's important to ensure that all currency is organized, verified, and safely stored. Bank accounts should be ready, identification documents up to date, and any paperwork regarding the source of funds prepared. Financial advisors recommend waiting until the rate is visible on international Forex platforms before making any exchange moves. This step ensures that transactions are legitimate, secure, and fully compliant with international banking regulations. Rushing at this stage could create unnecessary complications. Let's talk about international recognition. Once the central bank completes its domestic adjustments, the next step involves verification by global financial institutions. This includes international banks, Forex systems, and major trade networks. Once verified, the new dinar rate will appear on platforms used worldwide for currency exchange and international trade. This synchronization process is critical. It ensures that the dinar is tradable globally and that transactions in Iraq's currency can be conducted with confidence. The global visibility of the rate is the final step in making the revaluation fully effective. Until this happens, internal rates are a strong signal, but not yet fully recognized internationally. The broader economic impact of the dinar revaluation is significant. By restoring a realistic value to the currency, Iraq can now settle import contracts, pay international debt, and price oil exports in its own currency rather than relying solely on US dollars. This shift provides greater control over national finances and reduces dependency on foreign currencies. Economists expect that once the new rate is fully implemented, Iraq could experience increased foreign investment, stronger trade relationships, and improved national financial stability. The revaluation isn't just about currency. It's about economic sovereignty and strategic positioning in the global market. Another factor to consider is the connection to other global currencies. With Iraq making this move, analysts believe that other countries, including Vietnam, may follow with their own currency adjustments. Coordinated currency revaluations are often linked to broader international financial reform efforts. If similar moves occur elsewhere, we could witness a ripple effect across emerging markets in Asia and the Middle East. This interconnectedness highlights how Iraq's revaluation is not an isolated event. It's part of a larger wave of modernization in global banking and trade practices. Let's focus now on practical steps for dinar holders. It's critical to stay informed about the official release of the new rate. Keep close contact with banks offering foreign currency services. Ensure currency is clean and well organized and maintain records for verification purposes. In addition, consult financial advisors about potential tax implications as currency exchange events are taxable in many countries. By acting strategically and calmly, Investors can maximize opportunities while avoiding common mistakes during this historic financial event. On a national level, Iraq is seeing early signs of excitement. Local media outlets report that citizens feel renewed confidence in the economy, with businesses updating prices and individuals observing higher value in their bank deposits. This cultural impact is significant because it demonstrates that currency revaluation affects not just trade or investment, but everyday life. For Iraqis, the stronger dinar represents hope, economic independence, and a tangible improvement in the country's financial status. From a global perspective, markets are already responding. International banks and investors are watching closely. As contracts, import pricing, and oil deals are recalculated, any significant currency adjustment can create ripple effects in foreign exchange markets, potentially impacting investors worldwide. Traders and financial analysts are closely monitoring these developments, aware that the dinar revaluation could be one of the decade's most closely observed financial events. For those watching from outside Iraq, this is an opportunity to understand how strategic economic decisions can reshape regional and global markets. It's important to recognize that this is not a speculative move. It's based on economic correction. The dinar's value now reflects Iraq's oil production capacity, foreign reserves, and overall financial strength. For decades, the currency's official rate did not match these indicators. Today, the revaluation aligns currency value with economic reality, which is crucial for attracting foreign investment and building trust in Iraq's financial systems. Investors, businesses, and citizens all benefit when currency accurately represents a nation's economic power. As the revaluation process continues, the final steps involve synchronization with international banking networks, such as SWIFT, global Forex platforms, and foreign financial institutions. These steps are critical for establishing credibility and liquidity in international markets. Once completed, the dinar becomes fully tradable worldwide. This milestone is the point at which all investors will see the impact in their own accounts, and the dinar will officially regain recognition as a legitimate stable currency.